Hey, how's it going? um, there. I am not actually reading cards right now, but the last time I did, I believe I was talking about, amongst other things, revelations. Okay, hold on a second. I don't know what the issue is there, but maybe I can straighten myself out. Oh, hold on. Drop something. Okay, so first of all, this is good news. I thought I might have lupus. I went to the doctor yesterday, for anyone that was hearing what I was talking about regarding that. And I don't have lupus, but what I do have is centrifugal cicatricial I'm going to show it to you, but cicatricial alopecia, which is here you can see that. You give it your best shot. And it is particular to African Americans, air quote. This is my doctor speaking, and it's from use of straighteners, like relaxers, and also things like hot combs and, like, I'm sure curling irons, whatever kind of hot, stupid metal that's being put close to your head to make your hair do things other than what it's naturally inclined to. So that is why I was having like bald spots, and it is kind of a trend with my health. I don't know what's the deal with me and scarring, but in this case, the patches are scars, and I don't know why it's taken scars to suddenly appear. I don't think it was sudden, actually. I think it was gradual, from the effects of something I haven't used in at least 30 years. I did use it myself pretty regularly for too long, but there was gaps in between years. I think mainly it was used on me. It started when I was very young, and so I dislike the use of it. It burns, it stinks, it requires way more effort than I want to put into, excuse my expression, fucking with my hair. So as an adult, I was kind of off and on with it, and then I finally stopped because the smell, and it just never felt like a good thing to be doing, like putting the chemical literal process on your hair, or like feeling the need to do it to look a certain way, to make your hair look a certain way. And I mean that as far as like the social norms kind of force, where it's like, black people are not, like, natural hair and what we can do with it without having to pour chemicals and burning up our heads is not acceptable. So it's like there's that, and then there's like the going along with it, which it's hard to resist, obviously, or people would just wear their hair however it felt comfortable and good, and not like coercion. So, I mean, this could sound weird, But I really thought I had lupus, and I know I sound disappointed there, and it kind of is that, but it kind of isn't. It's that now that I know that it's this other thing, I still have all of those like symptoms that could have been lupus, and so illness being what it is, it could be a lot of they could be a lot of other things, indicators of a lot of other things too. But the other thing that I've been talking about that it's more likely that it is diabetes, which that makes me sad because I just learned that diabetes is the cause to basically your brain turning to mush. It's like, yay! I need more stuff happening to my brain because I don't know, like whatever. I also have, this is the other scarring illness that I have, is I have 4 brain tumors, and they're right around my spine, like points of the compass is how I see it. And how does it look on an MRI? I don't know. They don't take shots from like the top down. So I don't think I've ever gotten that view. So that's how I see it. And the result of them being there causes scarring. So on my head, the scarring is not going to ever allow wherever the scarring is, hair to grow again. And you're gonna be concerned about looks. That ain't a good look. And what the scarring is doing to me physically, otherwise, from like in my brain, I just don't think like. In fact, I need another complication like diabetes-induced brain dissolution. But you know, I'm saying it that way. It sounds terribly. It could sound worse. It doesn't sound great though. But coming from doctors, it sounds even worse. Like, particularly when it comes to my brain stuff, because when that started happening, I don't know why I just became a tumor growing machine, but when that started happening, the prognosis was so dire, like so thankfully wrong, but they didn't know like what the heck was going on with me because I got something that not very many people got, and then I got it completely differently. So all they could base their diagnoses on was these other cases, and they were not good. They're like, I had been paralyzed by my effect because it was in my brain. And they're like, well, you're probably not going to walk again. And I'm like, the hell with that? Which turned out to be true, my thing. They're like, all of it's like, fatal in most cases. And I'm like, I'm 26. You're killing me off. Like, I was just like, no. I was disinclined to accept that diagnosis, and thankfully I was right about that anyway. But that's making me feel some kind of ways, and this is just like the next day, so I'm kind of still processing that. But revelations, when this hair thing started happening, I understood how ironic it was. Like, I don't say it out loud very often because it's not nice, and I know it, and also because I think it and then I laugh. But occasionally it has escaped me a few times, but I just know that it's hurtful, and that's why I keep it to myself. But for the most part, I'm very aware of like men's hairlines and the stuff that they do to try and hide it or correct it. I often find comical because it's so visible, and I'm not. This is why it's bad to say it aloud. I'm not laughing at it because aloud, or I would. Oh my God! I hope that I never again. I did it when I was really young and stupid. directly to someone, some guy, my thoughts about what was happening with their hairline, because the impulse to obscure the loss and, repair the damage in such a way that you feel like you can look at yourself and not feel completely humiliated. I always understood that. And so I see the irony in now what's happening with my hair, which has always been way plentiful and, soft and shiny, and especially when I was coming up, growing up as a kid, I was around more of my black relatives. Well, they almost are exclusively that, but not entirely. Several have been white. So, but I don't, they're passed away. I live very far away. They're involved with their lives, and I just don't, what was the point of saying all of that? I was getting to somewhere. Well, anyway, that's a reason not to say what you think about someone's appearance, because what I might be laughing at is something that looks funny. I'm not laughing at they're feeling that they need to do this. I want to make that clear. But it's kind of maybe your body, if you're talking to yourself or you're talking to someone else, they don't get all of those nuance. Better to keep it to yourself. This doesn't always work, because I feel like right now, look what's happened. And it's just one more thing to bolster my point before I give it to you. I know these guys. They have a skateboard club. It used to be, I guess. I'm not sure what you'd call it now. There's still skateboarding and biking involved, but a whole lot of drinking, and that's always been the case. But they're called Jack's team. So something that they used to do, I'm from Los Angeles or Hollywood, and something I used to go visit San Francisco a lot, and also I've lived there, so I didn't actually see it happen, but I know that it happened multiple times, because I got to hear people talking about it. And these guys would occasionally get arrested for some kind of petty stupidity, drunken disorderly, fighting somewhere, or vandalism, or too drunk to skateboard, or stupid stuff, misdemeanors. And so they'd get arrested, and they'd ask their name, and then they would say it was this other person that I also know, and he was a Jack. And boys will be dicks. That's all I can say. But the first time I knew that they were doing this, giving this other person's name over their own, it was kind of funny, because you knew that he wasn't even in the area. He was often internationally somewhere else, or just in LA or south, just not in the area. So it was just ha ha ha. But at the same time, should something happen and he would be under the attention of some law enforcement, his name would come up. So I imagine it's possible that could have happened. And I mean, if it would be a major inconvenience, I feel in financially, and then as a matter of betrayal. And I never talked to this person about it, never brought it up. And even as I had the laugh that I had at the time, I understood that oh shit, that is also the case. It's like a nervous laughter, but just also I shouldn't have even been having it. impulses happen, you know. So I haven't directly addressed this person, but what happened is that I have family members that were of criminal-minded nature, and they were doing the same thing with my name in other states. So I can ha-ha laugh about, oh shit, I can ha-ha laugh about it happening to me, but I now see not only the irony, but don't be laughing at people, dodo, like. And this is not something that was not taught to me as a young child, and it even came to me through religion, which I have complicated feelings and associations with and about that another time, sort of, because I'm moving on to, I have a point. So, yeah, the irony of, like, the laughing at the hair stuff on, like, guys, and if I'm honest, sometimes women, which was harder because I felt it more, like the wrongness of even doing it. Why do we do that? Like, why do we do it anyway? So, yeah, the irony just came slamming at me, kind of. Like, I already said, I kind of know that it was, like, not really cool to be doing that. And, like, whatever kind of wood they make boomerangs out of, it hit me like that hard, is what I'm saying. Like, all of that stuff, like, snap out of it. Like, you should have been taking this seriously the whole time. Like, everything that's happened with, like, this was, first was done to me without any kind of consent of mine, but at the same time, life blueprint. So I'm here to, like, be learning all of this firsthand, and that is why you get to hear about it too, like, just my version of this happening. So here's the other step to all of this revelation, is I have been thinking about, like, things that I've done in the past that I regret. And sometimes they were deliberate, and most of the time, thankfully, it was, like, accidental or just sort of like emotional, reactionary, you know, not deliberately out to injure kind of things. Just sometimes it does. I have, like, a piece of paper that's all snuggling up with the light socket. I don't want a fire to start. Anyway, I know, OCD, shut the fuck up. So I started thinking about, like, when you die. It's not uncommon, and this has to do with, like, the life path, the pre-birth, like, blueprint situation that I often talk about, but also that it's even in children's cartoons, like a cartoon character will die and, like, an angel has a scroll and it's like the life review, and that is part of, like, dying. And there is another, oh shoot, I don't want to forget what I'm saying here. So, but this sort of trope, when you die, you have to, like, your life goes in front of you. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, when you think you're gonna die, you see your whole life. But the thing is you don't see it on this side of the veil. Or maybe, like, it starts, like, maybe that boomerang hit you then. Like, it's probably better if it hits you while you're still on this side of the veil. I'm thinking, personally, for myself, like, I want to soften the blow when I get to the other side, because you're going to get, apparently, you get it all at once. And what you get is not just remembering, like, oh, I lost this person. It's more about what you did to this person, and maybe why you lost them, like, not through death, but through, like, whatever you did. So I've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I dying? Do I think I'm dying? And then that made me think, I don't think I am, but that made me think of this other thing that I keep seeing a lot lately, and this is the sort of thing that prompts me to come forward and, like, just blah my personal crap to you. Is a thing about a trope. Well, it's not a trope, it's a real thing. Where, like, in nursing homes, and they have, like, cats, if just like comfort animals for the whole place, and the cats will start hanging around someone that's on their way out. And I'm talking like hospice type places or older age living facilities. The cats will like hang out with them for a couple of days before the people pass, and it's just like it happens so much, no one is oh, that came out right, actually. Well, they're not asking questions about it, like in those places, in those cases. And I've always had cats, and they haven't always all slept like right around my neck, like a little hot furry neck pillow on the wrong side, with toenails that are all sharp. But anyway, yeah, he spends a lot of time, well, like, that's how we sleep. We even have been like, I have been crazy over the past couple of days. I think it has to do with the astrology, like the planets are not in a normal position, and they're kind of, they may have moved by now, started moving, because yesterday, day before even, I started feeling normal again. But I was crazy. I had a forked tongue. I breathed fire. That was not good, and I knew it. And so yeah, the life review thing at the end, I don't want it to be terrible. Like, maybe I should just like live through the terrible here and just do the hard things, like actually make the effort to make apologies where I know they need to be made, like here and now while I can, and like get a grip and curb my own tongue. Like, if I know it's not okay to say or do, then I need to stop saying and doing it if I don't want to get to the end and be faced with all of this stuff, because you don't see what you miss and what you lost. Again, I want to stress this point. Evidently, what you see is what you made everybody else feel and see you as. Like, you finally get the true mirror of yourself, and it's like, I know there are things that are unfinished business that I have to deal with, like things I've done where I lost the opportunity before I did the thing. That was the time. That was the opportunity to not have an unfinished, like a loose end, and I can't now recover in some cases, because if it was like a being, they no longer are living in many cases. And so, and this is through like your whole life, and thank God I haven't killed anybody. Don't like think anything like that. I've not beaten or been intentionally cruel. I have been intentionally cruel. See, you can't even say that. Like, either way, whether you meant to or not, you're gonna have to experience that. And then it's kind of late in the game for some reason for me to be realizing that. So, like, disappointed. And also, the diabetes thing is more frightening to me because of the nature of my life. The way that obviously I comfort myself is with food. Shut up. I know what I need to do better. It's like, I've said it before, the reason why my teeth are now absent is because I did both everything you're supposed to do to maintain them and keep them in good health, while concurrently doing everything you should not do. So, yay. Anyway, the life review thing, there is a point of view that sort of, it's a place that none of us has ever been, like, consciously, most of us. It's a thing, a place, a time that, like, we can't realistically visualize because we just don't live in that dimension and that time zone or whatever it is, and we can have our imaginings of it. And there's, like I said, cartoons about this, but there's a guy on YouTube named Cash Peters, and he was like, I watched him for a while, and he evolved just like my channel. Started out one way and it's evolved in certain ways, but I'm pretty sure he still does these end of life deals, and it's like famous people usually, because people write in and go, can you do it about this person? And he can't always, but his name is Cash Peters, and I believe that's the YouTube channel that, like, I think his channel is just his name. So if you want to have an interesting outlook on like that life review, for sure check it out. And it's just interesting anyway. He does like line art to sort of describe what he's talking about, and everybody's talents, like psychic abilities or what have you, manifest differently. So his is just fascinating, the way that it comes through. And I believe he's also on the spectrum, which for me is like, oh wow, another interesting point. There's a word I can't, it's escaping me. See, this is why I don't want to have the diabetes thing, because another thing I keep seeing all the time is like, watch me, watch me, watch me. So I guess I have to watch this stupid thing, but it talks about, the title of it is like words that you start to not be able to say right before dementia hits. So like, dang it, I guess I better watch it right before dementia hits. I still don't have diabetes, which tells me that I do have an opportunity to at least lessen the blow or slow it down. Like, I don't want to use my mental faculties, but I have to do something more to the helping it column and less to the like just destroying it. Like, I can't do what I did with my teeth. I have to pick a side. So I'm waiting for a referral to see a nutritionist to come through. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to stop doing. That is harder. It seems like something I also just saw, but I kind of knew, is like sugar, the way it affects you is like a drug, and you get addicted to it, and you're crazy, and you can't resist it, and you don't care about the damage it's going to do to you. It's a dang drug, stupid sugar, but I love it. You see what I'm saying? But with a nutritionist, they can help me figure out how to achieve my goal, which is to eat more healthily. I can't get into like complicated, like even washing flour to make gluten protein. I don't have like, I would need help with that physically. So I need some help designing a meal plan program with what I can get in my area, what I can afford to order. I mean, it's very meat and potatoes and processed food around here, and like I was just saying, I'm very like susceptible to the processed food stuff. I've been eating it all my life. But oh yeah, I started to say that I saw this thing about sugar, and I felt like they were talking about the additives they put in cigarettes. Like, you can't just have tobacco. They got to put stuff in it to make the tobacco not rot, and it's like a weird chemical, and then they put like stuff in there, I guess, to make it deliberately addictive, and that's like sugar. Sugar, I don't know if they've done something to it because it is processed, or the stuff that it goes into, which is like everything. But you eat some and you just want more. And they said, oh, like a drug. And I swear I had some the other day, and I have a little like every month. Like not agave, like not good sugar, like honey, like bad sugar, like milk chocolate candy or whatever. Or like, I don't even eat bread anymore. I don't eat bread. I eat like ciabatta or sourdough if I can find like the right kind that doesn't have sugar in it. because everything's got freaking sugar in it or tons of salt. So yeah, ciabatta, if you like need bread, which I don't need it, but sometimes I want to be able to eat peanut butter and jelly on a bread sandwich, and I don't buy like sliced bread anymore, and it doesn't feel right when you squeeze it. It doesn't have the right kind of bite. It just feels like I'm eating some kind of artificial like Play-Doh crap. And if it feels like that going in, like it's not going to change significantly, you know how stuff comes back out. So I don't know. Believe it or not, I am like super conscious of what I'm doing to my body, because on the other hand, I'm high nutritive blasting everything else I can eat. Yeah, because I feel like, have you ever heard the term treat your body like a temple? I'm sure there's talk of it in the Bible. That's just the religious book that I was exposed to. I'm also sure that they probably talk about it in any other religious book, holy relic or old relic, just relic, like it's one of the earliest things that, we didn't have TV, we didn't have internet, we had like talking to each other and working and food, and some of us were paying attention to like the things that we could consume that would give us healing properties, or the best elements that we need for survival, like period, just to stay living, because like some people that becomes their interest, their purview. And so I also have that to a degree, but like I came to it late. I already lived a lifetime of eating like all of the worst crap possible. And then, you have like your sort of half submerged, like weird subconscious crap that affects who and how you are in your life. And you're like dealing with that too, but it's also what's screwing you up, and you're supposed to figure it out. So, yeah, I want to get it done on this side of the veil as much as possible, because if you look, he doesn't describe it as such. I'm sure he perceives it, but he doesn't like to praise what his abilities are, like what his capabilities are, really. Like, he can do these things, and someone will ask him to do something, he'll go, oh, well, I don't really do that, or I don't think I can, or I don't know how to, and then he'll just do it. And I said that to him one time. I said, oh, you're the guy that says, oh, I can't do that, and then you like do it, and it's awesome. And he like got mad. So I began to feel that my comments and my presence were no longer welcome after a while, because I do like to comment. I was always being like complimentary. I wasn't trying to be complimentary, which I know is, he perceives that, I feel like. I wasn't trying to be complimentary to like get his like good lights or whatever, because I don't expect people to answer me most of the time. He has a lot of followers, like thousands. And but yeah, I was just being sincerely complimentary, and I just rubbed him the wrong way, so I like left. But I recommend it. So I said all that to say that I never heard him say, this is them being faced with like all of the stuff that they did in their life, and he just says that they scrape off in various ways. That was just one way that I saw his drawing and him describe what was happening, because you go through this before you go, like you've already gone through the veil at this point, you're dead, but you're going through this something else process. It's like this light place, but it's oblique other than that, and they have to go through this process before they can get through there. And there's like reluctance, and they don't want to go. And some people, like George Harrison was when he did, and he's like, George Harrison his experience was he basically floated almost all the way through with nothing. So, but he had put in work, like he did all of that Buddhist stuff that people like laughed at. But I wonder, like, should you be like, I didn't laugh, I didn't understand it, but maybe I did laugh. I don't know, because I didn't understand it. I probably did laugh, but I came to understand it like not long after the laughing, honestly. But I'm not gonna say I understood it, but I did read and like inform myself more about it. It's like now in these latter years of mine that it's like all of that stuff is unfolding and making sense. So yeah, like in some of the things that I've seen Cash Peters like retell, like what his experience was when he tuned into this stuff with these people, doesn't look pleasant. And I feel like that is you having that life review where you're not like, oh my gosh, this is what I lost. It's more like, this is what I gave and this is what I'm getting back finally, and like, oh wow, that was a mistake. So like that's some of the stuff that we learn while we're here. So yeah, that's about it. Oh man, I feel kind of woozy. Thank you and good night.